Westchester Poets Prize, a Pushcart Prize nominee, as well as a 2011 Critics' Choice Award winner at the Houston Fringe Festival. The University of Texas at Brownsville has opened a permanent archive of his creative work in their library. His collection, Unutterable Blunders and Palace Disasters, was published by Plainview Press in 2006. Ceaseless Grease Paint and Combat Stance was published by Slough Press in 2007. Pleadings from the Pleiades, Poetry in the Arts Publications, is available at poetryinthearts.org, and his latest chapbook is Bones of Rebellion from Brave New Books Chapbook Series. His latest full-length collection, which is available right here for tonight, $10, Mr. Karma from Transcendent Zero Press 2013, is a collection of spiritual poetry. Let's all give Kent another round of applause.
Thank you very much. I will fall and fall hard. All right. I'm going to make this a casual reading. So, I need to tell my webmaster to shorten the bullshit on my bio because although it's all true, it just sounds incredibly pompous. I was at a reading a few weeks ago and I said, is that guy ever going to shut up? So, in honor of Dustin, is that guy ever going to shut up? No, in all seriousness, I'm reading down here tonight and I'm glad to be here. I've never read a Nocturne, although I've read it through like a number of times. We've got 6 more copies of the book that Dustin needs to sell tonight. So I'm hoping he's selling them for $10. We can get all 6 of these sold. I never have to come down and see Dustin again. The cover art was done by a friend of mine from the Art Institute named Kevin Richard. It's me as a Dutch master. Some of you guys may remember the old cigar boxes with Dutch masters on them. The Birth of the Cool, starring Dustin Pickard.
It's what they call a happening.
It's a Miles Davis thing. All right.
It was the chair was bent.
It was the chair.
It was the chair.
Was it the chair? I know my chair is even more bent, but don't mention it. Was it?
Leaning against the wall.
It could have been user error in any event. Where was I? Oh yeah. The cover art. Yeah. Hey, we're suing. All right. I hope they have a damn good lawyer because I know a few. All right.
You're one of them.
I'm one of them, right? Anyway, the cover art is me as a Dutch master. So I really, my buddy Kevin was looking through a book of poetry or a book of paintings, and it was like some Dutch poet named like Rangen van Viegen or something. And he said, I didn't know any of the poets but you, so I had a picture of you sitting around my studio. So he has an oil painting actually that he kind of morphed my face into the Dutch master. So I immediately knew it would be the cover of my next book. And no, I kid around with this, and I really do appreciate Dustin publishing this. All proceeds from this book go to the Dustin Pickering Memorial Relief Fund, which I've been trying to put the money in the coffers for that for many years. In any event, since I've been told this is kind of an open mic, I can say bad words. Let's get going. Here's my version of spirituality. Next, to glorify you. Each act is a sacrament. Each breath is an offering. Each morsel of food, a service. Each reaches toward a future where you reside as easy as you glide from past to path. What next can I do to glorify you? You do not need my sight unless my one eye shines through you, through only you. I am the village idiot in a shithole. By the way, I usually say don't applaud till the end because most people don't want to applaud poetry. But the reason I'm addressing the deity as you, if anybody's ever read any Rilke, I was reading Rilke when I was writing this And he has a whole series of books where he addresses the deity as you, as a love object. So that kind of inspired me. And then I put together some other poems I've written through the years with spiritual themes. And I'm probably going to just read a few things I don't normally read from this book tonight, because what the hell? So here's another little cuss words. I'll read everything with cuss words. How's that sound?
Go for it.
All right, this is a rondeau, very pompous poet. You can look it up. Rondeau on the rondeau. In 1597, the Pope banned the rondeau, but modern Catholic tastes need the discipline. Free verse piss and spoken word shit overflow like a whorehouse outhouse in wartime Berlin. Old forms forgotten, much to my chagrin, need a 21st century impresario. In 1597, the Pope banned the rondeau, but modern Catholic tastes need the discipline. Rhythm and rhyme glow as the poetic plateau, though liars say formalists can't be genuine. Follow, if you know, this sublime embryo. For in tradition, true new styles show. In 1597, the Pope banned the rondeau, but modern Catholic tastes need the discipline. And yeah, you can snap your fingers. That's a more appropriate thing for a reading, right? Yeah, obviously I'm offending the Catholics here too, so I'm going all in, all right? And that, of course, is a rondeau, which if you look in your poetry form books, it's an interspersing rhyme scheme, and there's some repeated lines. And I think I might have a villanelle in this book, but if I don't, it doesn't matter. You can learn that in creative writing. Speaking of which, Josie, thanks for coming. Josie's a student in my English class at the Art Institute. So I'll dedicate this poem to you. It doesn't have cuss words. Just throwing it out, okay? And it's one of the only poems I've ever written that looks like this, which is all non-left justified. I really am kind of a formalist, although I'm a radical in subject matter. So I left justified all my poems, but this one, I just kind of threw words down in like a line, okay? It's very visual. And within the limits defined by minds from far back, past adaptations, we all walk, fall outside these lyres, the musical instrument. It's a pun. You will be nothing. And moreover, they will still exist. So, how to escape? None. And furthermore, I don't expect a lot of sense in spirituality. I haven't found it. So I think one of the things I realized is, in fact, the next poem is called Sense of the Sense. Listen to the touch of God's eyes. In every sense, taste. Wise is the wisdom revealed in each of the ages. Foolish is the fool who loses your genius. Poor is the poverty of spirit to move want. Blessed are those who bless this mess of forgiveness. Hey, here's one for Lisa. Here's a Blake allusion. Thank you, Lisa, for all your help with my latest poetry. We've been working on a book of my love poetry through the years. I've changed the women's names because they might sue me. So all of you, the five of you who got my book, you know who you are. Two of them have not bothered to respond to the email, which I thought was a little hurtful. Three of them said, "You better not put my name in there, you asshole." And I said, "I won't, but I love you." In any event, Distant Overture with a Blake allusion for Lisa. You will ooze through the surging ozone to heal the waves of pain we all feel. You will bend with a canyon of doubt to allow a new world spirit to sprout, to birth in a single shout. You will come in a rumbling wave to share the peace there you crave. Stop the needles and pins on the ground. Weed out the distant overture, the natural feedback hum, ground up in a stark disaster. As you wander around, pretending you're the Christ child, with a case of the meek and the mild. But inside, the tigers burning bright and wild. She got the joke. Thank you. You know, I do wander around like a Christ child with a case of the meek and the mild. It's true. All right. Who else am I going to pick on in the audience, huh? Well, I guess you know who's next, right, Stephanie? I've got to, all right. And Dodie and Doug, as long as y'all are here, what the hell? I'll pick on all of you, all right? Here's one about kinfolk. Although, man, it's nothing to do with kinfolk, but the title says kinfolk, so this is for you two, who are kinfolk, right? Cheers. Wish we had booze here. I don't drink, children. Abolish kinfolk. If you would come here yourself to this contradictory place, remake the celebration of ebony, the metal of the first times. If you would essay the dream before it becomes useless, before the rebounding blood, before your father's death. This country used to be a mirror in the silver guise of the sea. Now, good omens are all around. In no way taking our surprise. If you would bet on the dying ocean, there's one last chance for the land. But what can be the last time for the poets without race, the armies always against them, souls showing in their face? He continues without discovering the choleric fashion of his country and this country, where all countries converge. Your love is improbable, so bring on the vomit, a symbol of neutrality, the flower of the birth garden. Here, roses are roses. A man who speaks standing up bandages his eyes with rain. We take strong root in the hour of the assassins. Over there, the iron grills wear the colors of the equinox. A man who speaks standing up is abolished in this symbol. I speak of the rose, and it means hope. But who will live by this grace? I am the child of 1,000 races, the soul of Europe and India, branded in the cry of the silence. I name the garden of Mother Earth, our planet without exception. But who then will plant the iron grills, if not my hands, then my kinfolk? You know, I was reading in South Padre for that whole compass thing where they put my shit in the library, and my stuff's very complicated. And I remember reading and going, this stuff makes no sense. It's very spiritual. But it actually does make sense. So why don't I make a little sense? since I'm being deliberately obscure. Here's one that Lisa really liked. It may appeal to the more mundane tastes. Millennial Licorice. Once I flew the nighttime skies, close enough to feel God's eyes, shining on our tiny earth, giving all living its birth. The clouds below unrolled pure white, a cotton carpet, a solid sight, which on touch would turn to air. We all would fall through there. As I again touched down to ground, I knew a truth I had refound. If man were truly meant to fly, why do high flyers die? Yeah. Okay, you got a choice here. I'm going to do a couple more, Dustin. Is that cool?
Good for me.
All right. Xanax or nitrous oxide?
Nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide it is, all right? You got any friends whose dads are dentists?
Not really.
Yeah, well,
Not a lot.
back when I was your age, I hung out with a dentist just to get the nitrous oxide. This is for Zach, a great guy, terrific young poet. Oh, he goes by seeing wise or whatever. He's very wise. He's a wise young man. Oh, we're doing nitrous oxide instead of Xanax. Hold on. I turned to the Xanax page. So this is, I'm sitting in the backyard of a friend of mine named Byron Scott, who was a musician in Austin. And he passed away, unfortunately. There's a poem about him in the book that I wrote. He passed away a few years ago. I was in Ireland, and I was at Yeats's library, the Irish library, and I heard about him passing away, and I wrote this poem based on Auden's poem for Yeats, and I did a formal poem for my friend Byron. It'll make me cry if I read it tonight, so I'm not going to. But, so anyway, I'm in his backyard, and we're musicians, so we got a little edge to us. So he's got some nitrous oxide in his house. I said, oh man, bring it on. So I went outside with a nitrous oxide dispenser and wrote a poem immediately upon taking this hit of nitrous oxide. And it's actually, I guess you would call it a narrative piece in 1301, because I talk about the experience of doing the nitrous, then the kind of spiritual vibe I get from the nitrous, and then it kind of devolves into this kind of nitrous thing. So, if anyone's ever done nitrous, you'll enjoy this. It's called For Mystic Byron. In a Chinese rock garden in Byron Scott's backyard, I thought to write of God, the oneness. As bamboo stalks clicked rhythm in the wind, and tiny chirps, followed by winter's bellows, cold pumped goosebump ribbing through my thin clothing. Then an impulse led me to take a nitrous oxide hit. The instant buzz of psychopoetic spirits filled my exhale, filled the world, was answered back by filling me with the all-encompassing quiet beam, which in turn indeed is all around me, whatever it may be. You see, no matter in the scene. Then, that mystic state ended, and on the ground, a hard gray canister. So clinical, not in tune with the nature's wisdom which bombs the ruin that is you. Oneness, I surrender. Do me as you will. How often do you get a poet imitating a nitrous oxide hit in this particular venue? That's what I'd like to know. In fact, where are the tanks? Anybody have some Native American in them?
A little bit.
Yeah? All right, this is my Native American poem. The The seer who would not see. Actually, that's probably a good one to end on. Unless you want me to do another.
Where are you at?
Dustin, what do you want to do?
Do what you like.
But don't do it here. Bada bing.
Just don't fall out of your chair.
Yeah, right now. You already got that one.
I took that one.
I can't top that. I'll do two more. How about that? I got two. I tell you what. I saw, since we're in a place called Nokturne, as I was walking in tonight, there's a beautiful half moon up in the sky, and it's gorgeous out there tonight, by the way. So I take a look at the moon when y'all have a chance to go outside and have a cigarette or something stronger. And think of the moon as I read this poem. This is for Nocturne. It's called Moon Crown. Some poets say the moon is a man and the earth is a mother. Others say the moon is hollow and the earth is full of life. Some call the moon Luna and earth a gorgeous Gaia. But I say the moon is a sliver carved from Earth Mother's fertile belly, and the alien's obelisk glows and winds every night in the light's sky. I know, that makes me want to stare at the moon all night long. All right, one more. So this is my poem for the earth. I have Native American in me. And when I go to Europe, it's kind of funny because nobody ever notices it here. But when I go to Europe, people always say the cheekbones, and the skin tone. Europeans catch it right away. Most Americans just oblivious because we're kind of all melting pot here. We're a mix. We're a jambalaya, we're a gumbo, in a good way. So I'm going to do this poem tonight in the hopes that all of us who are poets can make some contribution, however we do, with our words to helping bring peace to our earth and a little bit of understanding in what is a very tough world. And there's a lot of problems now, socially, environmentally. So I do this poem in the hopes that it may come true someday. This is called The Seer Who Would Not See. The eagle appeared at the seer's door one noisy full moon evening. Wake up, healer! Slumber no more! Don't you know a great flood is coming? But the seer missed the visit of that vision. So he 3 times denied the eagle's tale. Fly away, bird of misfortune. You're a liar, blind, weak, and pale. But as the eagle ascended on the wind, thunderclaps erupted from large, dark clouds. The lightning, like a huge beast, hissed in. Misty, gray night roared ungodly loud. A wall of green water destroyed Seer's room and his house, then his village, gone in a roar. The flood swept the valley, clean as a broom, then wreaked havoc to our planet's far corners. But the eagle had hidden one woman and her children. Amid the bones and the corpses, the flood stranded bare. He fed them and told them to refill the land. And a new righteous people came to birth there. Thank you guys for listening. And by the way, if you sell all these books, I'll sign them, and Dustin will be a happy, happy man, because all proceeds go to the Dustin Pickering Memorial Relief Fund.